How you doing, guys? Richard here from Yes I Can, and today I have a unique bathroom for you. Today we're going to talk about the importance of choosing the right contractor. A team that is capable of rectifying any situation that comes up, okay? As I always say on all my videos, we're not the only team that is qualified and capable of doing this kind of work, but it is very important because the teams that are available, the companies that are available to rectify this kind of project are slim, okay? Especially correctly. So let me talk you through this bathroom, and I'm sure my editor will cut into what this bathroom used to look like. So this was a full-fledged bathroom. It was a functional bathroom. It was tiled. It was not amazing, but at the same time, we had a couple of issues here because of the smells. Now, keep in mind, at some point in the last 40, 50 years, this was the underneath the house. So this was a non-habitable space. Someone has converted it into a couple of bedrooms and a bathroom, and they haven't done such an amazing job. So when we stripped out this bathroom, this is what we found. And wow, in 8 years of doing this, I've never seen anything like it. So today I'm going to take you through what we found and what we plan to do to rectify it, and the importance of rectifying this correctly. Okay guys, where do I begin? If we have a look at this wall over here, you can see we have exposed sandstone. Not only is it exposed sandstone, we have gaping holes, and this was behind a timber stud wall, okay? The problem with this is, with the amount of water that was coming through here, when we stripped out the bathroom, this entire stud wall was completely gone. There was nothing left of it. And this is the reason why. Now you got to keep in mind, this is stone. This was never meant to hold back water, ever. And we don't want water coming into this bathroom. And there's a couple of issues here that key points that we need to talk about. Behind this wall here, we've got dirt until about this level, okay? And on this wall here, the one we just had a look at, okay, there is exposed to the outside. Now, the good news on this wall here, the ground level is actually right at the bottom of this wall, which actually helps us significantly in terms of waterproofing. The problem that we have is, because you've got water that it won't run through, because we've already tested that with the recent storms, but what happens is you have a lot of dampness, a lot of moisture, and a lot of rising damp coming through here. When we stripped this bathroom apart, there was a lot of wetness in the concrete slab and in this wall. What happens if you don't rectify that and you re-tile over it, what that does is it comes through. If you have a standard positive membrane waterproofing, which is what you normally use in a bathroom, once the water comes underneath, it pushes up on the waterproofing membrane, it bubbles it up, it delaminates it, and ultimately it fails, okay? What happens when it fails, it starts to saturate the screed. The screed starts to deteriorate, so your entire bathroom starts to deteriorate from the underside up, and you start getting smells of moisture, dampness, and rot, which is something that was already present here when we came in. That's the first problem. The second problem is none of the plumbing here was compliant, okay? There is plumbing running everywhere. There is no gully in the shower waste, so we had really bad smells coming out of it. And if you look this way over here, you'll see that someone had cut the existing stink pipe. This is supposed to be way above the roof line of the house. What this does is it takes all the smells and it sends them out of the house, so away from this area. That's why one of the reasons of this, not only do we have the dampness, and not only do we have the smell of mold here, we also had the smell of sewage and plumbing, which is obviously not ideal considering that the master bedroom is next door, okay? So we have to rectify, so we have a couple of fundamental issues here. The first issue is rising damp, and the situation that we're in terms of the build here. The second thing that we have here is the plumbing issues. And the third thing that I want to talk about is the quality of the timber work. Now, I've ripped some of it out. Literally, all the timber work here was non-compliant. It's not connected to anything. It was just roughly framed up. There was a lot of movement in it. Like if you look at this wall, I actually literally, this part here, I pulled out with my own hand. The door jamb and the cladding around the doors and the walls was just pulled out. So all of this was all cladded and finished off. We just pulled it off with our hands. It wasn't even connected properly. Even this wall here, if you look at it, it's not really connected properly to anything. This side was okay. This side just absolutely fell apart. We've also got issues on the other side. So We have rising damp issues, which is a waterproofing issue. We have plumbing issues, and then we have carpentry issues here. Now, how do we rectify this? Most importantly, is you need someone that understands the difference between a positive membrane waterproofing and a negative membrane waterproofing. In a nutshell, positive membrane waterproofing is what we use on all bathrooms. It stops water going from the top through to the bottom. Negative membrane waterproofing will prevent something going from the backside in. And negative membrane waterproofing is what we need here as an initial waterproof to prevent any rising damp coming through. So the idea of it is you run a negative membrane waterproof around all of these walls. What that does is it holds up to 30 pounds of pressure from water pushing from the backside. The problem with negative membrane waterproofing is it's rigid. It's not as flexible as a positive membrane. Positive membrane, it can twist, it can mold, it can deform with the movement of the property. Whereas a negative membrane waterproofing does not. And hence why negative membrane waterproofing in the industry comes with no warranty. So what do we do to rectify this? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to run a negative membrane waterproof around this wall, and that wall. Okay. Keep in mind the dirt only comes up to about here, so it's touching the wall up to about here. Now, in the event that there was excessive movement and the negative membrane flexes and cracks, our fundamental point is this point here where the wall meets the floor. This is where the water is going to come down behind the wall on the dirt and it's going to try to force its way. And this is why you can see some dampness here. This is the point where water will force itself through, okay? This is also the point where if there's any movement, it's highly likely that it's going to fail. Now, if I do a negative membrane here, I've done my job. However, we want to fail safe this. If the customer's spending X amount of dollars on a project like this, it's not cheap. We've already done the first bathroom, absolutely happy. So when someone spends money, whether it's a $10,000 or $100,000, it's very important that they don't spend it again in 4 or 5 years. So we're going to build in a fail-safe. And the fail-safe is we're going to run a trench, which is about 100 mil wide, that spans from the beginning of this wall all the way down to here. And it's going to be plumbed outside. So what happens is, God forbid, if the negative membrane waterproof fails, the lowest high pressure point will be separated from the rest of the bathroom, and will also have somewhere for the water to drain out. On top of this, we're going to be opening some vent holes higher up into the wall above the dirt line at the back. And what that's going to allow, it's going to allow water flow to make sure if we ever have any dampness in here, it's going to be able to circulate the air and dry it out relatively quickly without creating smells and other things like that. Not only do we put vent holes in, we have to put screens of covers over the vent holes to prevent critters and stuff coming into your bathroom. So that solves the negative membrane. That also causes a secondary issue, okay? And the secondary issue is, how do you now build walls in here to be able to start putting back together the bathroom? Once you've got a waterproofing system on here, like a negative membrane, you cannot screw through it. So the idea that we have is, I do not like to tie brick with timber. So for example, if I decided to put a timber wall here and I tied it into a brick wall, what happens is timber and brick expands and contracts at 2 different rates. So ideally, you don't want to have 2 different substrates meeting in a corner, especially in a tiled room, because that is likely to crack. So what we're going to do here is we're going to reframe this whole bathroom area as a brick veneer. So it's going to have the brick and the stone on the outside with a full timber frame on the inside. The problem that arises now is you can't screw into the negative membrane because obviously you're going to penetrate what we just put down to stop the rising damp. So the way to overcome that is we tie it into the walls and the ceilings, and the floors have to be glued down. So no screws, no nails through the floor. It has to be glued down, which leads to a problem that we need to solve, which is what glue do you use that will not react over time with the negative membrane? And this is why it's so important to have a waterproofing system and a waterproofing company that you can trust, because they have done the research and development and they have a system for every scenario. So in this case here, we're going to do a negative membrane below, behind everything on the brick walls. We're going to frame it up, tying into the walls and the ceilings, and gluing to the floor to avoid any excess movement. We're gonna tie those timber walls to the brick walls. We're gonna have ventilation behind the brick walls with a trench as a fail-safe, okay? Then on top of that, we're gonna have 2 layers of waterproof, instead of 2 layers of waterproof below screed, we're gonna do the screeding. Then we're going to do a sheet membrane above screed and a liquid membrane on the walls. What this has done now has put layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of waterproof, and we cap it off with a epoxy grout. This bathroom will never fail. Some might call me crazy for over-engineering it, but over-engineering it now costs a couple of $1,000s. If it fails, it costs you tens of thousands of dollars in the future. So the idea is we spend a little bit of money now to prevent excessive amount of money being spent in the future. So that takes care of your waterproofing. That also takes care of your framework and your carpentry. The last thing I want to address is the plumbing. Now with the plumbing, again, none of this plumbing is compliant. So we're going to have to cut out all of this floor. We're going to move the toilet to here. Okay, so currently the toilet's on this side. We will be moving it to this side. We're going to have a dual shower here with rainwater shower heads. Stay tuned, there's a video coming about that with the final product. So all the plumbing is going to be relocated, which is leads to the final issue that I want to talk about, and that is cutting the concrete to relocate plumbing. You have no idea how many times I see people and builders cut the concrete, lay the new plumbing, and just put new concrete on top. It can't be done like that. It needs to be pinned, okay? What pinning is if you have a trench that's this wide, okay, and 100 mil deep, because the toilet plumbing is 100 mil deep. What happens is if you just fill that up with concrete, that's going to expand and contract and sink and move at a different rate than the rest of the bathroom, which has a possibility of creating sinking and cracking in the tile. What we do is we pin it with Rio bars, and what that does is it ties in the new concrete with the existing concrete slab, making it one unit, so it expands and contracts at the same time. Guys, I know I'm talking about all this complex stuff. Guys, it's very important that you find the right company that knows what they're doing. Now, the honest thing here, I'm going to tell you straight out, and I'm going to be 100% transparent with you. The variation costs on this bathroom, okay, is going to cost us about 2 to 3 weeks, and it's going to cost me $10,000 cost. That's my hard raw cost, okay? We're also moving the window and putting a lintel in and what have you. I have charged the customer exactly what it cost me. Now, this doesn't happen all the time, right? This is absolute worst case scenario. This is the worst I've ever seen in 8 years of doing this in the thousands of bathrooms that we've done. You need a company that you can trust to take care of you in terms of pricing, but more importantly, you need a company that can take care of you in terms of getting things done right, okay? So you don't have to go through the headaches again. This bathroom will come with a lifetime warranty from Yes I Can Project Group, because I am 100% confident that what we've done here in terms of engineering and design to prevent any issues in the future is bulletproof. So I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm giving them a lifetime warranty on this bathroom. In addition to this, a lot of companies, once you open it up and you've signed a contract, you're stuck with them. This is the best time for me to charge money for a customer, and this is a $16,000 to $20,000 variation. If I had to ask the customer for $20,000 or $25,000, they have no choice. They have to pay me. Even if you have to delay the project for 3 months while they attain the money, they have to do it. Otherwise, you end up through courts and you won't have a bathroom here for a couple of years. You want to choose a company that you can trust. You want it for in terms of giving you a reasonable pricing. A company that's not going to take advantage of you, and most importantly, a company that is willing and is capable and has the knowledge to give you a bathroom and rectify any issues that's going to last a long time. Guys, if you have any further questions, or if you would like to know more about us or watch out some of our videos, we have a YouTube channel. Just type in Yes I Can Project Group. Also visit our website, www.yesican.com.au. You can Google Yes I Can Renovations. You can contact us on 1-800-300-YES. That's 1-800-300-937. And again, until next time, I'm Richard from Yes I Can. And don't forget, if we can't do it, no one can.